And so, the family systems people localize pathology in the family, and they think about the individual as a unit in a dynamical system that's composed of the family. And I have clients who are nowhere near as insane as their family is, but they're the people who've been targeted with the mental illness because that's convenient for everyone involved, right? It's really annoying if all 6 of you are crazy because, you're never going to get out of that. So it's often convenient to identify the noisiest complainer as the psychopathological individual and to, scapegoat them. And then, of course, they look like they're ill too because they're so bloody stressed that they fall apart in 4 different ways. But the locale of the problem actually isn't in them, even though they're part of the system that's not functioning properly. And even though you can make them feel better by giving them antidepressants, well, at least sometimes. And that's because they have non-specific effects. And then you can think about social disturbance. Let's say you're depressed, and then I find out, well, the reason you're depressed is because you're unemployed, because that's a big deal for depression. Then I found out the reason that you're unemployed, maybe you lost your pension. Let's do that instead. That depresses you because you're 65 and now you don't have a pension. And then I find out that the reason you don't have a pension is because, you were a victim along with another 100,000 people of some bloody Enron scam. And then you localize the cause of the pathology in the social corruption that exists in the collusion between high-end crooked business leaders and politicians. And so you're part of that system, and too bad for you. But the causal pathway isn't intrapsychic, again, even though antidepressants might treat it. So level of analysis is a deadly, deadly problem. Then you have this additional problem of the relationship between mental illness and creativity, right, or even of abnormality per se. How do you distinguish someone who's creative from someone who's mad? Well, I don't know exactly. Because most creative people produce things that don't work very well and that drive them half mad while they're trying to, market them, let's say, or to get other people to pay attention to them. Creativity is a rough road, and most of the time it's not that good for the person who's engaged in it, even though it might be really interesting to pursue. So here's a tentative partial solution. You can think about this. Mental illness is the inability to regulate perception, action, emotion, cognition in accordance with desired values. Now that's an interesting one because it's half ethical, desired values, and it's sort of half descriptive, inability. Classical conceptions of mental pathology are really predicated on this viewpoint. So, for example, the classical notion of sin is a word derived from another word, hamartia in Greek. Hamartia is sin in Greek, and hamartia means to miss the target.